Okay, it's live? Okay.
It's live. Where are you going to angle it?
No, to the podium. Can you guys move out of the way? Just try and see if it's going to the podium.
Move the table. Then rotate it this way so you try back now.
Hey, go stand at the podium. One of you stand at the podium, please.
Hello, everyone. We have a whistler. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. Hi, everyone. I'm Evelyn's middle son, David, and this is my brother, Brian. Thank you. We're going to get going. How long do we have to fire open?
Till 3.
Okay, so we got a lot. Hello, everyone. I'm Evelyn's middle son, David, and this is my brother, Brian. We want to thank you for joining us this afternoon to celebrate the life of our mother, Evelyn Dumanski. We're truly thankful for all the notes, shared memories, stories, donations to Heart and Stroke, pictures, etc., that you shared with us over the past few months. It is clear that she touched so many people in many different ways from all over the world. Amazing a girl from the Italian village in Ottawa could and would go on to have so many friends from every corner of the globe. But that was her, caring, social, and funny. We want to especially thank those people from coming out of town: San Jose, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Toronto, Montreal, Otter Lake. Hopefully we didn't miss anyone.
We are here to celebrate a life well lived. In keeping with her wishes, we're going to keep it to short speeches, followed by some mix and mingling. And for the most part, we have all agreed to adhere to her wishes, with one exception. You'll see when we were sitting in the hospital back in December and discussing what she would like for a celebration of life, she had some very specific orders. That's my mother. She wanted a celebration of life, so check. She wanted short speeches. Well, we'll see. We're not going to let Warren speak today. We have sandwiches, desserts coming, desserts, coffee, wine, check. She wanted it at Beechwood, check. The one thing she said was no beer. Brian, David, wine, coffee, drinks, no beer. We never really got a chance to ask her why. Anyways, we made an executive decision to have beer here today. Sorry, Mom. It's all about a celebration. And quite honestly, I was worried my brother wouldn't show up if we didn't have beer.
So we're here to celebrate the life of our mother, so let's go. Evelyn DeCenzo was born on April 25th, 1939. Today would have been her 87th birthday. Yeah, if you can believe it. She was born in Ottawa on Yonge Street in Little Italy behind DeFalco's confectionery. Her parents, Dominic and Lucy DeCenzo, in addition to two brothers, her uncles Frankie and Basil, also lived with them. By all accounts, it was a pretty hectic house to live in. The house was heated by a wood stove and no indoor plumbing. She went to Commerce High School on Rochester, and I recall my mom telling us this story back in the day where she couldn't wear lipstick or short skirts, as her father and uncles would be pretty strict. Lululemon pants were definitely out back in the day. If she put lipstick on, it was done away from the house, and she would have to make sure it was off when she came home. She told us one time she left the house to meet my father when they were dating. She got to DeFalco's confectionery thinking she was far enough away from the house to put on her lipstick, which she did, only to meet up with her father on his way back from work from the Prescott Hotel. So she had to, when she met her father, she'd have her hand covering the lipstick, and she said I was mumbling something, and she'd shuffle off, and she went off, and her dad never knew she had the lipstick on. But this was routine back in the day. And I mentioned the Prescott Hotel. The Prescott Hotel would become a fixture in her life, and still is for many of us. Her dad, Dominic, would be the head bartender at the Prescott Hotel. His picture's still on the wall, which we're quite proud of. And Nanny Lucy would make pizzas and meatball sandwiches in the kitchen.
Fast forward, she would meet her father, Denzel, at an early age and be married at 18 years old. Moved to a small bungalow on Placid Street. Have 3 boys in the span of 5 years. She was pretty busy over those 5 years. In Placid Street, we joked all about growing up on the mean streets of Placid, but it was anything but. On Placid Street, my mom would raise the family for the next 30 years. Shortly after the move, her parents and our grandparents, Lucy and Dominic, would relocate to a small bungalow on Sudbury Avenue, just a few blocks away from our house, and would be instrumental in our raising. Mom would also enjoy a long career at Agriculture Canada. And when we grew up, she told us she ran Agriculture Canada. And I guess she was right because she controlled the payroll. More on Agriculture Canada later. There was some tragedy when we were living on Placid Street. Our father passed away on Placid when we were on Placid Street, when we were all quite young. But Mom was strong, and with assistance from Nanny Lucy, we would make it through. Raising 3 fairly active boys that were 12, 9, and 7. And we become even more active as the years went on.
As you know, as many of you know, Mom was very handy, always knitting, crocheting, making sweaters for my friends, none of them which fit anymore. But my mom actually, on her 80th birthday, we had a celebration for her at a restaurant in Ottawa. And my friend Jeff Darwin showed up with the sweater my mom had knitted for him. I don't know how many years, probably 40 years, well, maybe more than that. Anyway, a long time ago. Katie Dumanski put the picture. There was a picture of Jeff with the sweater on and my mom, and Katie put it on Reddit, and the picture went viral basically. The comments about the quality of the crocheting and the knitting. Anyway, it was very, very impressive. What you don't know about my mom is she's also quite the bricklayer. She made a stone wall in our basement, surrounded by a fireplace, that would put many of the neighborhood handymen to shame. Mom was also an amazing cook. She could make a fantastic meal out of basically anything in the fridge.
On Placid, we would try our hand at camping, but Mom would not really much of a camper. She liked her hair dryer, she liked hot water, basically the comforts of home. One day she suggested to the 3 of us that, why don't we scrap this camping stuff and we'll put a pool in the backyard. We were all in agreement, and from that day forward, the Gervais house would be known as the party house amongst our friends. Many of our closest friends are here today and would agree with that. We would also have many she would also have many parties, and we would have many parties, and she would know all about what was going on later in life when we were able to fess up to the things that were actually happening. She also did a pretty good job of having her own parties. As a very young, impressionable, this is my brother's hormonal boy.
No, it's not me. It's Alan.
You like nothing more than peeking out the backyard.
That was not me.
All participants in bikinis, and some were not. Growing up, we were always encouraged to have friends over to the house. My mom got to know all my friends, our friends, and their parents. Anyone who knows my mom knows that neighbors were really, really special to her, or always over at our place on Placid Street. This would be a theme over the years to come. On Placid, we had great neighbors like the Smiths and the Chapmans and the Thompsons, and just to name a few.
And the Fairburns.
And the Fairburns.
Fairburns.
That's right. And in fact, we remember when the Smiths moved, they lived across the street from us. When they moved out of the neighborhood, we took in Gail and Smith when the family moved away. We took her in as a boarder, and we had a lot of fun with Gail at the house, who took on also the duties of babysitting the Gervais brothers, which was a task in itself, but she was easily bribed, which was great. She would also, my mother would also take in her aunt and uncle in for a time, as well as another young lady she worked with who was having some troubles at home. That was her mother, always helping where she could. As many of you know, my mom loved to travel, and growing up on Placid Street, she would put the travel bug into all three of her boys. We all loved to travel. I recall when we were young, my mom would take us on a multiple family trip to Bahamas, and our grandfather coming along with us, along with our neighbor, Bernice Chapman. But more on the neighbors in a little bit.
A few special moments or memories from Placid Street. The anonymous note from a neighbor in the rear of our house, we assumed, suggesting we should live on a deserted island. Mom went door to door on the street. We were in tow behind us, asking who sent the note, but no one would admit to sending it. My friends and I knew which neighbor it was that sent the note that stemmed from one of those pool parties at the Gervais family. Lastly, I was there the night Alan smashed up the only family car on a misguided trek to Hull. There were three of us in the car, including my good friend Kevin Harris, trying to explain to your mom what you were doing in Hull at the age of 16 at 1 a.m. That was not a good night. On Placid Street, Mom would run a tight ship. We all cooked and did our own laundry at a young age. I recall one night she came home from work and there were dishes in the sink, and she would not talk or talk to us or cook for a month. We sure got the message. No more dishes in the sink when she came home from work. Fast forward a few years. One day while at Agriculture Canada, Mom would bring home a tall, dark, handsome guy from work. I remember telling the story at my mom's 80th birthday party and looking over at Julian, and Julian was kind of waving to everybody. And that's me. And I looked at Julian and I said, "I'm not talking about you, Julian. I'm talking about the first guy she brought home from work." We all had a good laugh, including Julian. Of course, it was Julian that she brought home.
Julian was a very laid-back person, and dirty dishes in the sink were encouraged, so we liked him instantly. Except for the homemade wine. I think my wife was the only one that liked the homemade wine. Yeah, well, yes.
Ryan, we have several gallons for you.
Yes, well, my gas tank's empty, so I don't mind. We also got to know his kids very well, Warren, Anita, and Ian, all here with their families. And then the Dumanski kids, we saw a reflection of ourselves, young, handsome. Like sports, fun. And fast forward a few years, Warren and Anita, Alan and Dave would move out, and the decision was made to sell the homestead on Placid Street and put a second floor in on Julian's bungalow on 16 Burbank.
So 16 Burbank. Mom would move in with Julian, and after a few bumps in the road, all would be good. Brian and Ian would eventually move out, leaving just Mom and Julian to enjoy the big house. Again, neighbors, it's common theme throughout my mom's life, would play an important role on Burbank. Hazel and Frank Pareca, their son's here today, Frankie, Bill and Simone Brooks, the Walkers, Yuri, Tony and Lena Orlando. They're not here today, but their family's here today. and Toby, Yan, to name a few.
A few notables.
Joel and Toby Yan, I'm sorry.
A few notables. My mother would retire from Agriculture Canada at a young age of 52. We had lots of really great memories and great dinners at Burnbank. We were looking at a home video from my eldest daughter's first birthday that we had at 16 Burnbank, and there must have been about 50 people there. My mother loved doing crafts, and of course, with more time on her hands, that she was retired, a passion for bingo and for the casino, particularly the slots, would blossom. And I can't tell you how many times she would show us tabs from the casino, Gagnant, $800, $1,500, $3,200, $700. But of course, we never heard about the losses. And whether it was a loss or a big win, the advice to us was always the same: don't tell Joanne. We weren't just her sons, we were also her personal bankers. There was a trip to Vegas with our cousin Patsy, who's here today. There we go. Where who knew that your cash card has a limit on it around how much cash you can withdraw? My mother certainly didn't know. And she hit her withdrawal limit within the first day we were in Vegas. Again, don't tell Julian. So you can imagine the panic in my mother's eyes. We've got 3 more days and she's got no cash. Not to mention the pit bosses in Vegas weren't real happy either, and she wasn't gambling. Luckily, I worked at TD Bank. I knew the VP of our TD call centers and was able to make a call in some favors. And I'm sure we broke a whole bunch of bank and audit compliance rules, but within a couple of hours, she had an increased limit and cash being sent to Caesars in Vegas. With a large house on Burnbank and a big lot, the decision then was made approximately 13 years ago to move from the place on Burnbank to Barhaven.
So Barhaven, once in the new house in Barhaven, it wasn't long before Mom, with a lot of help from Julian, had the lot perfectly landscaped, flowers planted along the side of the house, and the basement fully finished. Anyone who knows my mom will know that she was a doer. The Oak, the Royal Oak, she would call it the Oak, in Barhaven, was a favorite spot and a place to spend happy hour. They would make some great friends at the Oak, including Kathy and Rob Webb, who are here today, as well as Rolly and his wife, to name a few. So great to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. Neighbors would also they would meet some immediately. They'd meet some great neighbors as they had everywhere along the route, including Ted and Michelle, Mary and Peter, Chanel and her family, who's here today as well, and a special mention to Sean Pang. Where's Sean? Sean, there's Sean. Yeah, Sean is an amazing guy and just an amazing neighbor for my mom and Julian, and he continues to look after my mom's lawn in the summertime. In the winter, he would do the laneway and would take my mom to lots of doctor appointments. And anyway, you name it, Sean would do it. So thank you very much, Sean.
A number of years ago, when I was working for TD, we hosted a Women in Leadership Committee. And after a couple of career development type questions, a young woman in the audience asked who my hero was. And without hesitation, I said my mother. My mother, because she was strong, independent, caring, because she raised 3 pretty active boys who seemed to turn out okay, although that's somewhat debatable. And as kids, we thought we had it all, quite honestly. And it's only when you get older that you have your own kids and you realize the sacrifices and how tough it is, particularly for a single mom to raise 3 boys who were involved in everything. We didn't really know any different growing up. We thought we had absolutely everything, and we did.
Mom was a very special person, kind, generous with her time and her money, and very social. She has friends all over the world, as we mentioned before. In her younger years, she was an avid hockey mom, and I have great memories of the two of us on a team bus heading to the next tournament, hockey tournament. Last December, Mom made the decision to move to Hazeline Gardens, retirement residence in Stittsville. She never fully recovered from Julian's passing just 1 year prior. On December 23rd, she suffered a stroke. In retrospect, the stroke had been coming for a while, but she had not been feeling well for a long time. I was at the house when she had the stroke. She had surgery the evening of the 23rd of December, around midnight. While she was recovering well from the stroke, she had some other health issues that complicated things. We did get her out of the hospital and into Hazeline Gardens early January, where she received first-class care. On January 19th, she suffered what I believe was a second stroke and passed away. Nina and I were by her side when she passed.
We would like to acknowledge and thank all those who paid a visit to my mother, whether she was in the hospital or she was at Hazeline Gardens. It really lifted her spirits. Even sometimes we had to kick Jeff out, I think once, because we had so many people in the room. But you could see it in her face and in her energy. Anytime she had visitors, which was quite a lot, it just really perked up her spirits. And we just want to say thank you for that. We'd also like to acknowledge two ladies who were very close to my mom and who helped my brother and I through a lot of those days in December and January. To my sister-in-law, Kathy Baxter. Kathy spent a lot of time with my mom in the hospital and at the retirement residence, and was always available to spell my brother and I off. So we could go out for dinner, more likely go out for beer, and just get some time to decompress. She also arranged for clergy and a priest to attend the hospital and retirement home. It meant so much to us that she did that for us. So Kathy, thank you very much.
And Karen Dumanski, where's Karen? Karen and my mom always had a special bond. Karen spelled me off in the hospital on Christmas Eve around 8 p.m. and stayed overnight with my mom until I returned to the hospital the following Christmas morning at about 7, 8 in the morning. This at a time when Karen had quite a bit on the go with her own mom, Lucy, who has, by the way, since passed away. Lucy was in long-term care at the time. But Karen, what you did that night was just incredible. And we thank you so much. Thank you. In closing, we miss our mom. We love her a lot, and in our hearts, and she won't be forgotten. She was an incredible person. So, thank you.
I'd like to call up Anita's kids, Cameron, Lucas, and Miller, to say a couple of words.
Hi everyone, my name's Cameron, oldest of Anita and Greg. Can you hear me? Okay. I just want to say thank you all for being here. I just want to share a quick story, one of my favorite stories about my grandma. There's a lot to choose from. But when my brothers were born, I was around 4 years old. My grandma came to visit and help out with the twins for about a month. But to me, it was just another friend to play with, right? We would hang out, play board games. She would walk me to school, and we would share lots of laughs. Now, I'm not exactly sure why, but sometime during this trip, I decided that her name was going to be Honey. And she reciprocated by calling me Honey. So for years on now, from that point, it was just Honey. It would be in the grocery store. Oh, Honey, want this? Want this? I'm not exactly sure why I did that. I think I just wanted a special name for a special friend. That's exactly what she was, right? Always bubbly, able to light up a room with her laugh, her smile. And if any of you know my dad, you know that his laugh is also very vocal. So you can imagine that the two of them in my house with a couple wines were not easy to sleep at night sometimes. But yeah, Grandma, she helped out whenever she could, right? When I was a hockey ref, I needed a patch done. She got that done in an hour so I could get on the ice. Just so many other stories to choose from, but love you, Grandma. Thanks very much for the memories.
I'll just share another one of my favorite memories of Grandma. And when my brother and I were, throughout our entire childhood, we played a lot of baseball, and that took us to many places. And whenever my grandpa and grandma could come, they would drive no matter how far the distance to watch us come play. And especially when we were younger, my grandma had a particular cheer that she took a liking to. When the bench wasn't as loud as she would like it to be, or if there wasn't as much excitement as she would like, she would come over to the dugout and say, "I'm fired up, are you fired up?" And immediately, the amount of excitement that the entire team had was incredible. She had this ability to inject her excitement of life into everything that she did. And even as I moved on and stopped playing baseball and moved into university, she was my biggest cheerleader. And I would call her every day and as much as I could, and she would love to hear everything that I was doing. And even as I started to do research in science, and it was a bit harder for her to understand, she would be my biggest cheerleader, and I know that she's cheering us on from above. And I'll just share a final story that I love about my grandma. This was about a year ago when we came down to Ottawa when my grandpa wasn't doing so good. We offered to drive her around for the day to take her to her hair salon, to the grocery store, and to visit a friend at a visitation. And throughout the day, when we were visiting her many, many, many friends, she would always call us her bodyguards to everyone, threatening not to mess with her. Would have something to do with it. And then we got back to her house and she made us all the food that she knew we liked, like egg rolls and cheese and salami. And we played a board game that she completely made up the rules to. But it was just a really lovely day. And I just bring up that story because she was always so grateful to be in our presence and us for her. She was never forced to be our grandmother, but she made that choice. And for that, I am forever grateful.
Thank you, Cameron and Lucas. Those are absolutely incredible stories. It's nice to see that they've got their height from the Gervais side of the family. I would like to call upon my stepbrother, Ian Dumanski, to say a couple of words on behalf of his family as well. I'm fired up. Are you fired up? That's classic. Oh, all right. Ev to me and to my family was an incredible energy source, a love, a spirit that she brought to all of our lives. Ev was something special. She was full of life, spunky, always up for a good time. She had a laugh you couldn't miss, loud, joyful, completely infectious. If Ev was around, you knew it, and more importantly, you felt it. She and my dad shared something like 45 years together. And in that time, she didn't just become part of our family, she helped hold it together. She filled a space in my life, in my siblings' lives, that can't really be put into words. She chose us. We felt that every single day with her. Some of my favorite memories with Ev are as follows. First off, going back to when I was playing hockey as a kid, I was a goalie.
And often, my defense would fail. And there would be a breakaway headed my way. And as soon as that breakaway started, I would, come out of my crease and I would get all focused and I'd get in my stance and it's like focused in on this guy. And off in the distance, I would hear a cowbell. Get him, you get him! It would crack my focus a little bit, but then I would recenter myself, and in that moment, you would hear it, the cowbell, loud and proud. That was Ev, cheering harder than anyone else in the rink. It was distracting, but at the same time, it was comforting because I knew she was there. That's who Ev was.
Did you make the same?
Always. The cottage was another place where I have great memories of her. The three of us, Dad, Ev, and I, spent a lot of time there when I was younger. Swimming, sitting around the campfire, just enjoying being together and hanging out. Ev was an amazing cook. If you ever had her meatballs, oh my God, the meatballs were fantastic. Every meal felt like an event. And after dinner, we had our legendary leg wrestling matches. If anybody knows what leg wrestling is, you're lying down side by side, head to feet. And on 3, you'd lift your legs and you'd lock your legs and try to flip the other person over.
You did that with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ev weighed about 110 pounds. Dad didn't, but she never held back. She gave it everything she had. She managed to even win a couple. I think we might have given her a couple, but regardless, it didn't matter because there was always so much laughter in those moments and such great memories spent there on the floor of the cottage, trying to flip each other over. And then there were the ping pong games in the basement, legendary ping pong tournaments that took place. Competitive, loud, unforgettable. Ev would be down there playing in her high heels, as she always did, screaming at the ball, trying to smash it, laughing completely in the moment. That was her. She didn't just participate in life, she drove into it. Over the last 10 years of Dad's life, Ev and I went through a lot together. There were so many hospital visits, tough moments, and through it all, we leaned on each other. We supported one another, and somehow we always found a way through. That bond meant so much to me. Knowing that I had her there as a backstop, I can't thank her enough for those tough times. Ev is also a loving grandmother to my kids. She built special relationships with all of them, especially Katie. Her and Katie were close. She gave so much of herself to our family, and we're better because of it. For Karen and I, she wasn't just a mother, she was our friend, our buddy. Somebody we could count on to lift us up, to make us laugh, or just be there. Visiting her was never a chore. It was always something to look forward to, and something we miss so much today. If you knew Ev, you probably knew she loved the casino. We had many trips there together, trying to cash in. I never seemed to have any luck whatsoever, but Ev, she always seemed to hit the jackpot. She had horseshoes up her ass. It's true, there's no other way to describe it. Because she'd hit the slot machine, she would light up with excitement, and those wins turned into the story she would happily tell you for weeks, even if you've already heard them many times over. Ev may have been small in stature, but she was larger in life in every other way. Huge in character, huge in heart, and impossible to forget. After Dad passed, there was many times I really missed him. In those times, I would call Ev and I would go over to see her. And just being with her brought comfort. We'd laugh, we'd share stories, we'd remember him together. She had a way of making things feel okay, even when they weren't. That's who Ev was. She showed up, she loved deeply, she laughed loudly. She made life better for those people around her. We miss her dearly, but we're grateful to have had the time we had with her. Her memories will carry us, and for the love she gave us. I'd like to think that somewhere right now, her and Dad are back together. It's likely happy hour. She's probably ringing that cowbell again. And he's shaking his head but smiling. The two of them are laughing the way they always did. Thank you, Ev, for everything.
Just a couple of things before Brian wraps it up. So I think that leg thing that Ian was talking about, that's called senior citizen abuse. And Lucas and Noah, I thought you were going to tell the story what Grandma's advice to you was in university. Remember what that was?
The girls out of the closet.
No, keep it in your pants.
I don't think she gave that advice to my brother. On behalf of our extended family, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being here today and spending time with us to pay tribute to our mother. It really means a lot to us, so thank you very much. Just like to propose a toast. You have a drink nearby. Evelyn Dumanski, mother, a wife, a friend, a best friend, a casino partner, and somebody that you could always rely on for a laugh. Good advice. Thank you for joining us, and in keeping with her wishes, lots of mix and mingle. She would love a loud room. So, to Evelyn Dumanski, thank you all.